Now hold on to your hats, folks. This match is going to be fire. I will be shocked if we see a sweep on either side of the board, but it is Super Smash TV. Anything can happen at any time. Here we go. Game number 1 between Firebroth and Skawttie. Let's see what happens. As we get both runners in sync here, we've got the Razor Shield drop for both, invulnerability for Skawttie, a foot for Firebroth. Both runners going to ignore that. A foot, of course, increases your speed for a limited amount of distance. And the Firebroth gets rid of the whole thing and is going to have the whole shot. So a very solid opening room. Skawttie going to be several seconds back. It's a high 39, low 40 for Firebroth. A very good opener. It's a 44 high for Skawttie. It's about a 4 3/4 second difference. Opening rockets. That's a great drop there for Firebroth. A foot, unfortunately, for Skawttie. So early advantage going to Firebroth. Now a spreader for Skawttie. Trying to keep control of the middle. Give yourself the best firing lanes to take down multiple enemies. Now a Razor Shield for Firebroth. So getting some good drops, but still no opening orb for either player. There's Vitamin R for Skawttie. As Firebroth ignores the foot, this is going to be the end of the room for Firebroth, but kind of a slow finish there. It's going to enable Skawttie. Look, 125, less than a second. He gained 3 seconds in that room, did Skawttie, even without the orb.
And a great move on Skattie's part, too, clearing the room with the rockets that he had and picking up that spreader, so having a full clip of spreader to use here in Eat My Shrapnel.
And we're now $1.45 into this game. No orb for either player. That's very unusual. And now an orb for Skawttie, so he's definitely going to have the lead unless Firebroth gets an orb sometime in this room.
More rockets here for Firebroth. Gonna pick those up. And he's gonna be first out of the room by about 3/4 of a second.
So it's still that 3/4 of a second. So Firebroth lost nothing in that room as Skawttie has a full clip of rockets to take with him into total carnage. It's about to run out, but he will get some spreaders to replace that weapon. But neither player, there's the Razor Shield for Skawttie. You love to see that. So both of our runners now have the orb. A little bit of an advantage for Skawttie with that Razor Shield. Spreader for Skawttie. Firebroth going to ignore the spreader. It's well out of the way. Key for Skawttie, a nuke for Firebroth to give him a little bit of a breather, and Skawttie just enough room to pick up that spreader, because that Razor Shield, while it does help protect you from projectiles, kind of gives you a little of a hindrance, because if there's a weapon drop that's on the far edges of the room, you won't be able to pick it up. And in fact, we do have a new leader. Skawttie now in the lead with the 302. An excellent total carnage there. Firebroth, though, still in the running. We've got ourselves a 312. For the first time, it is time for, Taco Bell. Taco Bell. Product placement with Taco Bell.
I was wondering if we were going to get that today.
I know, right? But there we have it. So Skawttie, the first one, he has a clip of spreaders to take with him. That's not too bad, but he will not be able to take down any of the gunners. There goes one. Oh, the shrapnel picks him off. A chance for Firebroth to take the lead, Bergs. Oh, Firebroth. Oh, how did Firebroth not get destroyed by that shrapnel? He went right in between those two with very little maneuverability.
Threading the needle and then some.
Oh, no question about it. There's a spreader now for Firebroth. Still the orb intact. Skawttie does get his orb back. We'll see what... Oh, but he's fired down by the tank. We'll get the rockets, though. So the potential's there that we may have another lead change here going into Mute Toy Man as the rockets run out for Skawttie. And yes, indeed, the lead has flipped back into Firebroth's favor, but not by much. A 433. Oh, but the shrapnel is going to delay Skawttie a few extra seconds here. It's going to be a 439, about a 6.5 second gap. That is one empty drop, Bergs. It's anybody's game.
Yeah, this is where Mutoid Man becomes the great equalizer, and no ball buster on Firebroth's side. Skawttie does take the death and picks up the spreader.
Yeah, it was in a good location. He is going to have to, yeah, if that would have been another spreader, that would have been amazing. But he will use the rockets to take out the gunners up front. So kind of a good consolation there. Now he's going to switch up to the old school lobbers with the consistent damage. But Firebroth, an empty drop there. So Skawttie definitely now in the lead. He gets another spreader, but doesn't see it until too late. So he's going to have to manual it. That would have been a good location to get some more damage in there for Skawttie. And great manual there. He may be able to get this spreader. He is going to get this spreader here to do more damage here. He's got a huge lead now on Firebroth, but look at this. Oh, but the invulnerability, he'll still be able to get it. It is a game over, though, for Skawttie, so a chance for Firebroth to cut into this lead. And then an empty drop for Skawttie. And we're tied.
Rib cage open, head popped off on both.
Wow, neck and neck here. Final form, Skawttie still has the lead, but it has definitely shrunk. But advantage Skawttie. And the lobber, ooh, I don't know if he's going to be able to get to that lobber in time. He has to go around and doesn't get it. Firebroth could steal this. Spreader for Skawttie. I don't think this is going to be enough to take him down. Oh, this is so close. This is so close, Burgundy.
Oh, Firebroth gets flattened.
How did he not get run over? Skottie's going to be able to get the lobber. This should be enough.
He's missing a lot of shots, though, but he does get it.
Wow. What a barn burner of an opener for game number 1 of Firebroth and Skawttie, but it is going to be Skawttie who hangs on by the skin of his teeth with a 644, and Firebroth going to be right behind with a 648, a difference of 4 seconds. What a start, Burgundy.
Wow, that was intense. Lead changing back and forth with each room, with each drop. That was just what I was hoping for when this came into here.
Man, Skawttie had a big lead in that Mutoid Man fight, was on the penultimate form, but then got run over, drops dried up, then Firebroth got a spreader to get him back to within even 4 seconds. Folks, this is just game number 1.
Just based on how that's gone, you have to wonder, I mean, are we going to get the full 5 out of this?
I mean, if we don't get the full 5 out of this, I reckon all 3 games are going to be very, very close. I would be shocked. But again, this is Super Smash TV. Anything can happen. Wow. All right. We're going to give them just a little bit of a breather here, and then I'm going to ask them if they're ready for game number 2, and then we'll turn them loose, because a close match like that, they definitely deserve a few moments to kind of collect their thoughts, regroup, and get ready for that second game.
Oh, man.
All right, Firebroth is ready to go, just getting Skottie's confirmation, and we'll get set up for game number 2. Wow. All right, both runners are ready, Bergs. I'm going to count them down.
Oh, man, this is, if this is anything like that last one, Monty might have to take over because I'll be in the bag. Holy smokes.
Me?
Fly ball.
Good luck. Caught.
Caught.
All right, we're underway. Game number 2 between Firebroth and Skawttie. They were 4 seconds apart in game number 1. Let's see what happens in game number 2 as they both have the Razor Shield.
Firebroth leaving the nuke alone, knowing that it won't do a lot of good this early in the room. Once the score gets up into the low 50,000s, you might be able to utilize it to save a little bit of time.
Oh, they are practically neck and neck going out of Arena 1. It's virtually tied going to collect power-ups. That's what you love to see.
Yeah, fraction of a second, very slight lead to Firebroth, but a very, 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 minute difference.
Yeah, maybe a tenth of a second, if that. It's for all intents and purposes tied. It's going to come down to what kind of drops they get here and collect power-ups, and we're not seeing any of them. Well, there's a set of rockets for Skawttie, a spreader for Firebroth, but there's the orb and the advantage for Firebroth. Now, Skawttie's going to get some more rockets if he has efficient firing, and now he gets his orb too, so equal opportunity drops for these runners. You love to see it, Bergs.
Apparently, Skawttie had gotten an orb, but then that was actually a replacement, we're being told from...
Really? Wow, it must have been very, very quick. 126 for Skawttie, 128 for Firebroth, and both of them have the orb. Watch out for that swirl. Okay, good for Firebroth. 18 of the Mr. Shrapnels we have to take down. Maximum of 4 can be on the screen at once, so you got to make sure you're on top of the game or you're going to be bleeding time. Ooh, Firebroth. That was too close for comfort there, Bergs. I thought he was going to get cornered and lose his orb for a moment. That would have been disastrous.
Definitely invoking Jim J. Bullock on that one.
All right, 209 for Skawttie. Firebroth looks like he lost about a second. 212 into total carnage, but this is still very close. Opening rockets now for Skawttie here. You love to see that. And vulnerability, not as desirable. And Skawttie following that up with the Razor Shield. So Skawttie trying to increase that lead on Firebroth. Oh, but bad luck for Skawttie. Remember what I was telling you earlier there, Bergs? That Razor Shield being a hindrance, Skawttie will not be able to get to those rockets.
And that spreader might be out. Oh, no, that one's just in range.
Just in range indeed there for Skawttie. That one will be in range as well. But Firebroth loses his orb and is getting nothing for weapon drops here in total carnage. This has been a disaster here for Firebroth.
Trying to work with what he has, which has been nothing thus far. Now there's a rocket drop. Can he get to it? Yes, has to go around a couple of times, but does get to it, as Skawttie now at about a 308 into the bonus room.
Very solid time into the bonus room there for Skawttie, but Firebroth, that lead didn't get the swirl of shame, luckily, but it's about a 15-second lead. Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell. We don't have much time, unfortunately, this time.
Not much overlap.
All right, tank trouble time now for Skawttie. His opening drop. Hello! The best that you can see, and down goes the gunners up on the walls.
The rich getting richer here for Skawttie.
Oh, that most certainly is Burgundy here. Firebroth needs a really good opening drop. Let's see if the game's going to be generous, and it is! Great rockets, and both gunners are off for Firebroth as well. So you might have a chance to keep pace. The thing is, though, Skawttie has done a great job keeping control of the middle and keeping that orb intact. So this is going to be a solid time into the Mutoid Man, provided he can finish the job here, which should be very, very close. And this is going to be the end of the room here for Skawttie. So he will have a chance at the ball buster, but Firebroth getting more rockets to try to keep pace. About a 423 for Skawttie going into the Mutoid Man fight. And I'll tell you what, the drop saved Firebroth there. Despite the fact that he had no orb, he's only 15 seconds back with the 438. He lost no time in that room.
Despite not having the orb, that is just purely fantastic. And Skawttie got the ball buster.
He did get the ball buster indeed. Very well placed there by Skawttie. So that's going to give him an early advantage. Firebroth sees the grenades. He'll go ahead and get those. He was on the wrong side anyways. He'll try to take down the gunners if he can. 1 down, 2 down. Does get the lobbers. Here is a rocket now for Skawttie. This is anybody's game once again. It could come down to just one spreader if we see it on either side of the board here. Right now it is Firebroth who needs that spreader, but Skawttie The drop, there's a lobber. I was going to say the drops have kind of been drying up. They're both now on the same form. And now Firebroth, the second arm goes down. And Firebroth has taken the lead. Skawttie has knotted it back up. It's a one-form lead now for Firebroth, who's looking to knot up this match at 1 apiece. Skawttie needs to see a spreader here or more empty drops on Firebroth's side. Rocket on a mine, got to be careful. He's able to grab that, but the key is going to stop Firebroth in his tracks. He's going to grab it, try to get some other drop. There's a lobber. Final form, it's still a one-form lead for Firebroth. The ball is in his court. Skawttie needs a spreader, and he needs it right now. There's a lobber. It's a good drop, but it might not be good enough here as Firebroth gets more rockets. The DPS is going to be slow, but this could be enough, and it will be enough. And ladies and gentlemen, what was a best of 5 is now a best of 3 as Firebroth has tied up the score at 1 game apiece.
Oh, and now back-to-back spreaders on the final form. Thanks, game.
Yeah, disaster there. You hate to see it, but you love to see the fact that we have a match going at least 4 games. 633 versus 647. Not as close as the last game, but still 14 seconds. That's just a couple of empty drops there, Bergs.
Yeah, that definitely could have gone either way. And, I mean, fortunately for us, we get to see a couple of more matches here, a couple more games within this match, I should say. And possibly going all 5. We'll see.
Yeah, nice come from behind there from Firebroth. He was down 15 seconds going into that fight and had a 29-second better fight than Skawttie did against Mutoid, man. I'll see if they're ready for game number 3 here. And this has been, right now, so far has been advertised, Burgundy. Close games, no sweeps. We're going at least 4. We may go at least 5. I think this would be a good opportunity for a channel point prediction. What do you think?
I'm with you on that.
All right, looks like Firebroth is ready. Skawttie is ready. I'm going to go ahead and give him the countdown. All right, game number 3 between Skawttie and Firebroth. Skawttie won game number 1. Firebroth won game number 2. The cumulative difference between the 2 runners so far has been only 18 seconds. Let's see what happens here in game number 3.
Razor Shield Manips to start.
Yep, you definitely want to...
Both leaving the feet go, and a whole lot of nothing otherwise here, so just looking for accurate shooting here in Arena 1.
Yeah, and that's typically what it is in Arena 1, is that, you know, you don't get an orb, you don't get the rockets, you don't get spreaders, so you pretty much ignore all the other drops in that room. It's about a 1-second lead for Firebroth, 41 versus a 42 going into collect power-ups. An opening foot, an opening invulnerability. Not much of an advantage for either player. They're looking for something better than that. And now the drops flip-flop for these 2 runners.
But there's the orb for Firebroth.
A Razor Shield for Skawttie, and now he gets his orb. So it looks like Firebroth should keep his advantage on Skawttie, depending on what the final drops are. And yes, just the fact that Firebroth had the orb earlier is going to give him that lead, 125 versus a 128. So gain another 2 seconds on Skawttie, but this is really close. Nothing in terms of the weapon department for either runner here in Eat My Shrapnel, and a key and an invulnerability on respective sides. Both runners are going to ignore it. Right now, they're just going to focus on the Mr. Shrapnels. But there's a great drop there for Skawttie, the rocket. Not quite the end of the room for Skawttie. It is the end of the room, a 208 versus a 211, so they were even in Eat My Shrapnel, but the advantage, well, Firebroth is going to get his Razor Shield. Skawttie will have rockets to start the room, but he needs to have more weapons to complement here. Spreader now for Firebroth as he keeps control of the middle, so some good drops here for Firebroth. There's a Razor Shield for Skawttie. Gonna have to go to the bottom here, but he will regain control of the middle. So again, equal opportunity drops here, Burgundy.
Yep, right now a couple of empty ones, a foot on Skattie's side and the dude on Firebroth's side, but now here's some rockets and a spreader for Skawttie.
I'd have to say maybe slightly the drops have favored Firebroth here, but again, this is just too close to call here. We could see low threes coming out of both runners into the bonus room, which means potentially more product placement. Good nuke to finish the room for Firebroth. It's going to be a 303. Skawttie not going to be that far behind. It's going to be a 309. So as advertised, 2 30Xs, as once again it is time for Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell.
Oh boy.
6 seconds, no weapons for either player to take with them to tank trouble. Opening drop for Firebroth. A rocket, but it's on the southeastern corner. Oh, and the purple shirt snipes his orb and then clubs him down. Will he get to the Razor Shield? No, he will not. As Skawttie got Spreader as his opening drop. So one of the gunners is down, then invulnerability to dance on the mine while he's trying to take down the gunner, and does somehow. Great nifty movement there by Skawttie. Oh, and a death for Firebroth. He will get the rockets though, but Skawttie loses his orb too. Firebroth will change it up for some spreaders here. Skawttie getting an invulnerability now, rockets and spreaders respectively. So the drops, I'd say right now, have been favoring Firebroth here in tank trouble. And in fact, he is going to have the lead with a 427. And it's going to be, no, it's not going to be double digits. It is going to be a 436. So he only gained 3 seconds on Skawttie. So that is close. Single digits going into Mutoid Man. Another anybody's game situation here. Oh, and a key for Firebroth. Grenades for Skawttie. Nothing to write home about. Could take down these gunners though with accurate firing, and he does so. Very nicely done. Spreader for Firebroth. Gonna have to go for manual here.
It's going all the
manuals there.
Yeah.
Wow, very good manuals. So, you know, this is a close match. They're both one arm popped off. Skawttie now going to get some rockets. And it looks like it is Skawttie who is in the lead. Remember, he was trailing going into this fight, but now an empty drop. Another empty drop for Skawttie, and Firebroth's back in the lead. But here's a spreader opportunity. He's got a long way to go. Can he get there? Yes. So an opportunity here for Skawttie to pull away here. Not going to get too much more damage off of that form. So they're both on the same rib cage. Oh, and getting sniped by the eyeball lasers there. And Skawttie has the lead, but not for long as Firebroth has the lobbers. Oh, this is so close here, Bergs.
Oh, wow.
But here's another spreader. He should be able to get to it. But
Oh,
it's
he blocks
blocked!
it!
No way! A huge break there for Firebroth. And final form now for Skawttie, and it's an empty drop, and Firebroth starting to pull away, Burgundy.
Oh my gosh, that was right there for Skawttie. And
but look at this.
No.
Another chance at a spreader, but it may be too late. Let's see. Firebroth needs to land his shots on those lobbers. Final form for Skawttie. Did he get enough transfer damage? Oh, he's but it's too late anyways. Firebroth is going to be your winner. Another close game, Bergs. Oh, let's see how close this is going to be. It's going to be a 6:51 for Firebroth. And Skawttie is going to be less than 15 seconds back again. Another within 15-second match here. Skattie's time, 7:03, 12 seconds.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Oh, that block right there on that spreader cost Skawttie the match. Wow. He was on his way, gets blocked, and Firebroth takes the win and is now one game away from moving on to the second round. Wow.
I mean, this is everything we were hoping for here, and then some.
Yeah, so far now, you add that up, the cumulative difference between them, 30 seconds. So the average difference in each race has been 10 seconds. Contestant 1.
Amazing how the synergy works in this case here.
All right, looks like both runners are ready to go. I'm going to ask them for their readies, and we'll get them counted down. Will Skawttie force a game number 5, or will Firebroth finish the job right here? I'm going to get them counted down.
Oh, man.
I'm looking forward to this here, Burgundy. I think Skattie's going to knot this up. I think we are going to see a decider here in our first opening day of Smash TV matches here. What do you think?
I'm thinking this is going the distance.
You think it's going to go all the way too? All right, we'll see if we do get our wish as we have Razor Shields for both runners here as game number 4 underway. All 3 of these matches have been close, all 3 of these games in this match have been very close. The first one was a 4-second victory for Skawttie. Game number 2 was a 14-second victory for Firebroth. And game number 3, a 12-second victory also to Firebroth. Looking to go 3 in a row. Skawttie trying to end that streak and force a game number 5. And it is Skawttie with the early lead going into collect power-ups. Let's see what his opening drop is. A Razor Shield, not too bad. Let's see what Firebroth gets. Also a Razor Shield, but now an Orb for Skawttie as his second drop, and vulnerability for Firebroth. This is what Skawttie needed to see here, Bergs.
Yep, early advantage, being able to double the firepower, even if there's no weapon immediately available. Still able to take them down twice as quickly as Firebroth here without a weapon.
And still no orb for Firebroth. There's a spreader. It is going to be a Skawttie lead, a 120. That's a great time going into Eat My Shrapnel. Firebroth using the nuke to finish it off, a 126, 6-second lead for Skawttie, plus the orb. That's the important thing, is that Firebroth has not seen an orb yet and just dodges the swirl there. All right, so really nothing in terms of weapon drops for either runner. That's extremely bad news for Firebroth. Skawttie at least can deal with it because he's got the orb, but this is bad news for Firebroth. He could be losing time here. There's a late Razor Shield. Skawttie will have no part of that. That's the end of the room. 204 for Skawttie, and Firebroth is losing time here. He's got no weapons to help him. Yeah, it's 2:16. That lead has increased to 12 seconds, and that lead is going to continue to increase as long as Skawttie keeps that orb and Firebroth doesn't see one.
For Firebroth, these drops have been about as generous as Ebenezer Scrooge.
Mr. Cratchit! And finally he gets that orb.
The game didn't like me calling it Scrooge. I see.
I guess it didn't. The game knows there, Burgundy, and that's great news for Firebroth because he needed that, because he could have been 30 seconds plus down if he didn't see that orb and that razor shield there. So now he has a chance to mitigate that time loss. So Skawttie just gonna have to continue to play his game. Nice nuke there to give him a little bit of a breather here. And this is not quite the end of the room here. That was the last set. No more of the Mr. Shrapnels. A very impressive 303 going into the bonus room here. Let's see what we get on Firebroth's side. All right, and it's a 316. He only lost 1 second, I believe. So great job there for Firebroth. So once again, it is time for Taco Bell. Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell. All right, great opening drop for Skawttie. It's rockets, both gunners down. No weapon for Firebroth right now. So the pressure is going to be on here for Firebroth. What is he going to get? A nuke. That's about the second best drop that you can see. You can focus on one gunner, but Firebroth didn't. Okay, one of the gunners does go down, but he loses his orb, and Skawttie can really start to pull away here, Bergs. But Firebroth does get a replacement orb. Vitamin R now for Skawttie. Watch out for that shrapnel. Okay, and the tanks. Oh, that one stray bullet there, Bergs. Oh, that kind of scared me for a moment on Skattie's side. Good tank trouble there for Skawttie. He will be first with a 417, and Firebroth unfortunately taking a death here. So that lead should increase for Skawttie. And he has a PB chance.
Difference.
PB is 5:52, so if he goes under 95 seconds, Bergs, it'll be a new PB for Skawttie. All right, grenades here, so not really the glamorous drops you want to see if you're trying to get a PB here. There's a spreader, but too far away to take the death. And oh my God! I think the game knew what was going on here on Skattie's side. He knows. It knows that he's got a PB opportunity. It's like, oh, no, you don't. No manual for you. Both arms popped off. Skawttie definitely has a lead here. It's looking really good here, but anything can still happen. But Firebroth needs to see a spreader here soon if he wants to get back into this game. Otherwise, we're going to a fifth as we now have the rib cage exposed on Skattie's side. Looks like PB probably not going to happen this time for Skawttie, but more importantly, he's on the track to force a game number 5 here. There's an empty drop, though, that does get rockets. Didn't have to wait too long for it. Manual spreader chance, and now an invulnerability for Firebroth. This is an opportunity.
Oh, wow.
That's the end of the clip there for Firebroth. And we do get Glitch Toy Man, our first one of the tournament. But final form now for Skawttie. Firebroth needs another spreader, and he needs it right now, or we're going to a 5th game. It's looking really good for Skawttie here. One more weapon ought to do it. The grenades, will the DPS be enough to finish this off? It is, and ladies and gentlemen, we were anticipating this game from the outset, and this match has delivered and a whole lot more. We are going to a 5th, Burgundy.
Oh, this is fantastic.
6:22 for Skawttie, another fantastic time. This is going to be the biggest margin of victory by quite a bit. I mean, again, Skawttie had established that lead going into the Mutoid Man fight, but Firebroth still going to be a sub-7. So anybody who said 5 games, you're getting paid. 30-second difference. So 6:22 for Skawttie, 6:52 for Firebroth, and we go to a 5th and deciding game of this best-of-5 match.
That just made me almost $5,000 in the channel points.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations, Burgundy.
I'm no Brent Musburger, but I do what I can.
All right. So 30 seconds. So the difference between the runners in the first three was 30 seconds. That last game was 30 seconds. I mean, Skawttie won it in the arena there. That time he won it in the arena. I mean, he had a much cleaner, much better arena than Firebroth. Again, Firebroth not getting an orb until very late, which really set him back. And then Skawttie had a much better tank trouble than Firebroth. Mutoid Mans were pretty much even. Maybe Firebroth gained a little bit, but nevertheless, it is Skawttie who has forced game number 5. So whoever wins this game moves on to the second round. The loser goes down into the second chance bracket. My goodness gracious. All right, folks, it's time for some low-quality apple-flavored beverage around here. I'm talking D-Ciderbergs.
I was wondering where you were going with that, but that makes a lot of sense.
All right, we are underway here. Game number 5. Winner moves on. The loser gets knocked down into the second chance bracket. Here we go, folks. All right, so both have their razor shields here. We'll see who ends up with the whole shot. And it looks like it is going to be Firebroth with the whole shot here. Not by much. A couple of seconds, maybe. And a low 39 for Firebroth. That's really good. A low 41 for Skawttie. So, yeah, about a 2-second lead for Firebroth going into collect power-ups. Let's see what happens. Ideally, I want to see even drops. We have rockets for Firebroth. Grenades on the feet for Skawttie. You don't want to see that. But so far, the RNG favoring Firebroth here. Skawttie getting some terrible drops here. And the terrible drops keep continuing for Skawttie here. Another set of grenades. And now an orb for Firebroth as the rich is getting richer here, Bergs.
Well, in terms of seeding, Firebroth is the favorite, and RNG is definitely favoring the favorite here in this deciding Game 5.
Wow, a 119, another hot time into Eat My Shovel. Skawttie got an orb and then loses and gets a replacement. The game trying to at least balance things out here and giving Skawttie another chance here, but he finds himself about 15 seconds back early. Again, this is what hurt Firebroth in game number 4, and now the tables have turned in game number 5, Bergs.
This has been unbelievable thus far. Firebroth leaving the rockets alone in the corner, preferring to keep to the middle, and now look at that. Rockets pretty much right there on the feet, and 203 into total carnage.
Wow, yeah, RNG favoring the favorites indeed. I mean, I wouldn't have ignored those rockets, not in any chance, but Firebroth, took a calculated risk there and it paid off. Now, Skawttie did gain a second on Firebroth in that Eat My Shrapnel room, so 14 seconds is the gap here, and we're going to see what happens here in total carnage. Rockets for Skawttie, a dude for Firebroth, so no Razor Shield yet. There's a spreader for Skawttie, a foot for Firebroth, so I know the drops starting to, well, I say that, and the drops favor go back to Firebroth. But then there's the Razor Shield for Skawttie. The game has no idea what it wants to do. It's trying to favor both players, and that's what you want to see in a game number 5. But look at this. A 256, a really, really good time for Firebroth into the bonus room. That is absolutely tremendous here. Skawttie trying to re-up. That's the end of the room there. So Skawttie gains some more time. Another 3 seconds. It's 3:07, so one more time. What's it time for, Bergs?
Oh, Taco Bell. Product placement with Taco Bell.
Ding! Oh, you love to see it. 5 games, 5 product placements with Taco Bell. Invulnerability for Firebroth, not a great open and drop there. And losing the orb, here's a chance for Skawttie to maybe take the lead if he can get a really good opening drop. Let's see what he gets. A dude! So neither player getting anything of real significance. In fact, I guess you could say, well, Firebroth did get his orb back, but otherwise this has been TTTT all over again. And as I say that, rockets nearby for Firebroth, so he can easily keep control of the middle here. Skawttie doing a good job keeping control of the middle himself. Firebroth oh, the shrapnel picks him off, Bergs!
Oh, wow.
It's still going to be a Firebroth lead, but that lead has shrunk. It's a 421. Yeah, remember it was like 11 seconds. It has shrunk to a 6-second lead. That's less than an empty drop, Bergs. This is game number 5. Hold on to your hats, folks. This could get interesting. Ooh, a spreader following it up. That was kind of the wrong order there, but Firebroth will get at least something out of this spreader to take an early advantage. Skawttie cannot get the ball buster, unfortunately. There's a spreader. He has a long ways to go. Will he get to it? No, he's just cut off. Oh, he blocked him just enough that he was not going to get that spreader. A huge bad break there for Skawttie as the rib cage is exposed. Firebroth definitely lead. Another spreader, but did he wait too long?
He did.
He did. So a little mistake there from Firebroth. Didn't recognize the spreader in time, and that's a big missed opportunity. He could have closed out this game, and now Skattie's still very much in this. But he needs another very good manual there from Skawttie. It's a 1-form lead that's been cut to now for Firebroth. A manual spreader opportunity for Firebroth here. Penultimate form now for Firebroth, but a spreader and manual chance for Skawttie. If he could get, but he's run over. It's going to be a lobber, so it's still a 1-form lead for Firebroth. All right, grenades versus lobbers here. Skawttie, a spreader opportunity! Oh, is this going to be the turnaround? Final form for both? Oh, the transfer damage. I don't know if Skawttie got enough of it. Spreader now for Firebroth. Rockets for Skawttie. Switching up to lobbers. Oh, this is so close. And Skawttie has come from behind.
Wow.
And it was so close. What a match, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, 6:30 for Skawttie, and Firebroth right behind with a 6:34, 4.5 seconds. The difference in game number 1 ends up being the difference in game number 5. Unbelievable.
I have goosebumps right now. This is just absolutely insane. I'm so glad that this is what we got here. This is pretty much everything we wanted out of this best of 5.
Wow. Skawttie stole that one from Firebroth, and no one will ever know. Wow. This is only day number 1, but we have already an early front runner for match of the tournament.